Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to say thank you for the time given to me. My name is Sahara. I am from Universitas 11 Maret, Indonesia, and I would like to present our research in the International Conference of Mathematics and Mathematics Education, I-CMME 2021, with the title of Mathematical Literacy in Adolescent Students in ICT-based Boarding Schools. So let me start from the introduction. The Ministry of Health of the Republic of Indonesia classifies a person's age into some categories, including toddlers, children, early adolescence, late adolescence, early adulthood, late adulthood, early elderly, late elderly, and seniors. Childhood to late adolescence is a period where a person takes formal education, from kindergarten to tertiary education. Education plays important role in one's development. It can determine the quality of human resources in a country. Meanwhile, Indonesia ranked 74th of 79 countries that participated in the Program for International Student Assessment or PISA survey in 2018. Therefore, this country needs to continue improving the quality of its education through various aspects. Improving the quality of education is inseparable from the development of technology and information. In the 21st century, information and technology develop rapidly. Even it can be said that humans can be separated from technology. Therefore, today's learning innovation highly utilized by technology. Besides, the ability of students also must be a major concern in improving the quality of education. The sophisticated development of current education technology won't be meaningful if the students have low or no ability to utilize the technology. The next is about the mathematical literacy. First, mathematical literacy is an individual's capacity to formulate, use, and interpret mathematics in various contexts, including mathematical reasoning and the use of mathematical concepts, procedures, facts, and tools to describe, explain, and predict phenomena. Mathematical literacy is one aspect of PISA to assess the quality of education of a country every 3 years. The last survey in 2018 showed that the ability of Indonesian students in mathematics got an average score of 379. The domain of mathematical literacy concerns the capacity of students to analyze, reason, and communicate the ideas effectively when they use formulate, use, and interpret mathematics in various situations. The PISA assessment itself of mathematical literacy offers of 6 levels. Description of the 6 levels of the mathematical literacy can be seen in this table. They are levels and description, where levels number 1 is identify information and solve problems using routine procedures according to explicit stimulation. Level 2 is recognize situations, use algorithm or formulas and interpret. Level 3 is interpret and represent different information and apply problem-solving strategies using good procedures and state directly the reason from the material obtained. Number 4 is work effectively with models in concrete and complex situations, represent different information and relate them to the real world according to the context. Level 5 is evaluate problem-solving strategies using broad logical thinking and combine mathematical knowledge and skills with real-world situations. And the last is number 6, that is use reasoning, make generalizations, and use the information of investigation and modeling in complex problem situations. The mathematical research process into 4 namely formulating real-world problems using mathematics, interpreting, and the last is evaluating solutions. We go to the next, that is the research methods. This study used a qualitative descriptive approach. Qualitative data were described descriptively without any manipulation or other treatment process. The qualitative descriptive research is often used to analyze social events, phenomena, or conditions. This study describes the mathematical literacy of adolescent students in boarding school-based ICT schools. The next is the research subjects. The study involved adolescent students aged 16 to 18 years in one of the best private schools in Surakarta. A total of 30 male and female respondents volunteered to participate in solving the mathematical literacy question, and it used a snowball sampling technique to select 10 subjects from the total sample for the interview about mathematical literacy. The subjects are customized to ICT-based learning and live in boarding school. So this online study didn't find any difficult to obtain valid data. Now the next, go to research instrument and data collection techniques. This research used the following instrument. The first is mathematical literacy test in the form of non-routine question with the theme of the spread of the coronavirus in Indonesia as an application of the realistic mathematics education or RMA approach. And the second is semi-structured interview guidelines to explore students' mathematical literacy deeper. The data collection technique was the data collection technique were test and interview. These instruments were validated by the lecturer and professors in the field of mathematics and mathematics education. The data collection technique was, the word test interview. This test required students to solve a mathematical literacy test that has been adjusted to the level of indicator of mathematical literacy. As seen in this picture, the test required to solve a mathematical literacy test that adjusted to level and indicators of mathematical literacy. And the test is we can see in here, Java Island has the largest population compared to other island in Indonesia. Total population of its province of this island is present in the figure above, which is in 1,000 people. On the other hand, a global pandemic caused by COVID-19 has occurred since the beginning of 2020. As of March 18, 2021, a total of these people were confirmed positive for COVID-19. Based on the information at the figure above, the student has to prove the truth of the statement. The next is the research instrument and data collection techniques. The first is the validation of the data used to triangulation methods, which is methods triangulation and sources triangulation. The first validation was done by comparing the results of the analysis of the student's answer with the results of interview, and the second validation was done by comparing the results of analysis between the subjects. The students' answer sheet were analyzed, and then it was followed by in-depth interviews. The interview was recorded using a recording device, and the validation of the data was used the two triangulation methods. The triangulation results were then analyzed to see the tendency of students' mathematical literacy. Next, we go to the data analysis techniques. The obtained data were then analyzed through data reduction and data presentation. In the reduction stage, the researcher reduced in the accordance with the research objective. And then at the presentation stage, the researcher present students' mathematical literacy in solving non-routine problems based on realistic mathematics education or RME. Then we go to the result. This study found 3 classifications of mathematical literacy from 30 research subjects with 13 students in level 1, 10 students in level 2, and 7 students in level 3. Furthermore, the researcher explores mathematical literacy deeper through interview from each classification, which is the first, second, and third classification. We go to the first classification as stated above. The first classification of mathematical literacy level 1 consists of 13 students. They are solved by the same characteristic, namely unable to identify the overall information in the question. But when given stimulus during the interview, they were able to identify and solve existing problems as presented in this figure. And this is the answer of a student of R1 in the first classification. This figure clearly shows that R1 can only identify a small part of the information from the diagram, but R1 made a mistake when while trying to solve the problem using the routine procedure. So the R1, so R1 is classified into the level 1 of mathematical literacy levels. Next, we go to the next result, which is the second classification. The second classification of mathematical literacy or level 2 consists of 10 students. Overall, the answer have met the criteria. Based on the answer sheet analysis, students can recognize the situation given in the question. The student worked according to the formula and clearly interprets the data obtained and compares them with the statement as shown in this figure. We can see in this figure with the second classification of mathematical literacy level 2 that have the characteristic of mathematical literacy level 2 by PISA from the description and from the previous study. The next and the last is the third classification, where this classification consists of 7 subjects. The student in this classification provide answers that meet the criteria of mathematical literacy level 3 based on the answer sheet and interviews. The student provide reason directly besides writing and representing the information and they know as presented in this figure. You can see that the student in this classification provide answer that meet the criteria of mathematical literacy level 3. Based on the answer sheet and interview, student provide reason directly besides writing and representing the information they know. And then so R3 met the mathematical literacy criteria level 3 as he can explain each stage completed with the research. And now we come for the discussion. The findings describe the fulfillment of mathematical literacy level with 43.3% of students at level 1, 33.3% of students at level 2, and 23.4% of students at level 3. Meanwhile, no one reaches level 4, 5, and 6. In the formulation aspects, students with mathematical literacy level 1 can only identify a small part of the information to solve problem and can only understand after getting stimulus. In the use aspect, students with mathematical literacy level 1 can use the information in problem solving, but using routine procedures and previous stimulus. And in the interpreting aspects, with the students with mathematical literacy level 1 can make the correct interpretation. Some statements are not properly received by students at this level. And so the domain of mathematical literacy relates to the capacity of students to analyze, reason, and communicate ideas effectively when they formulate, use, and interpret mathematics in various situations. And then we go to the conclusion. And conclusion number 1 is the mathematical literacy of the two respondents at level 1 with 43.3%, level 2 with 33.3%, and level 3 with 23.4%. Level 4, 5, and 6 are not found. The three levels are divided into the first, second, and third classification, where the first classification meets the criteria of level 1, which students can identify information and solve problems using routine procedures according to explicit stimulation. The next is the second classification, which the level 2 of criteria covering recognizing situations using algorithm or formulas and interpreting. And the last is the classification, which the criteria of mathematical literacy level 3, namely interpreting and representing different information and implementing problem-solving strategies with good procedures and stating reason directly. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. I would like to say thank you for the attention and please be willing to fill in the comment column below. Thank you.